Welcome back to the Anime Association for a very special stream. It's our very first live for this recording right here. And as you can see, you got the three stooges today. You know, Shane couldn't be here, Silva couldn't be here, and neither could A1. But with no further ado, the only way to proceed is to proceed. How y'all doing today?
Doing well, good sir.
Good, thanks. Different type of feeling, but all good.
Yes, you said a different type of feeling.
Yeah.
It feels a little empty in here. Yeah, I tell you that much. It feels a little empty in here. But so obviously, since Shin isn't here, he did give us some answers to two of the questions, and I do have them loaded up for us to play and go along, and I can pause them if any of us want to interject at any given time and give commentary, right? So the very first thing on our docket is build your own spy family. And now the way that is set up is you have to pick a father, a mother, a child, an animal, and a support. And you cannot pick from the big three or Dragon Ball or repeat answers from each other. So I hope y'all have backups or can do it on the fly. So starting off, I'm going to play Shin's first. So since he can't edit his in any type of way, then we can't. It would be weird to be like, "Oh, you do it to a recording. You gotta change it." Shoot! What's up, Rook? Let's bring you.
What's up, Rook?
Rook.
Long time no see. Assemble.
Association assemble. He says that on every live stream that we have. So
I think he's probably on the Henny already.
Pretty much a woman. Her name is
bad.
Chain.
I should have gave you a heads up.
Father character would be pretty much a woman. Her name is Chain. Like, I forget what the last name is, but her name is Chain, and she's from KK Senkai or Blood Block Brigade, Battle Brigade, and she's a werewolf lady. But like her whole shtick thing is like she's kind of got like phasing abilities and stuff like that, and she basically can be within reality. Like she can phase through reality and stuff like that, but she could be the father role. Her whole thing is the spy person in that association from that anime. And then I went with,
we don't discriminate gender roles around here.
Chain is the mom.
I was wondering about that.
Or the dad. Chain is the father character. And then I went with Jill. And Jill is the main character from a show called Princess Principal. And she is probably just as much as like weird like Lloyd is, but like she will probably fit that spy role your does. So like Chain would be pretty much the spy, or Chain would be pretty much the assassin. Like I'm flipping the thing. Chain would be the assassin, and Jill would be the spy of that whole thing. However, but like the Princess Principal one is great anime in general. But like both of my characters are females, if you couldn't tell. But like then the kid,
low key cheating. But
the kid, I was thinking of stuff like Ein, the sister from what's it called? No Game No Life. I forget what her name is. I forget what the kid name is from Promise Neverland.
He doesn't know
I think his name is like Georgie or something like that. But the one who kept that secret, the little kid. But like I think I think I'm cheating. And then I thought about Bochi from Ranking of Kings, but I think I'm cheating here. But I'm gonna say it anyway. My kid is Detective Conan. That's my kid.
That's a good choice.
Because you know, Detective Conan, he got turned into a kid and everything like that. He's a kid and everything like that. So like, that's my kid. That's the kid I'm going with.
That's
is
a good choice
Detective
right
Conan.
there.
And then it went with you. So you kind of, I was kind of thinking about what animal I could use, and so the animal I'm using, I guess I could be cheating on this one too, is I originally was going to say Yorichi, but like she's from the big three, so I couldn't say Yorichi.
Hold on. I had to pause it on that one. Oh my gosh. How you doing, Melissa? Look, I was not expecting him to say Yorichi, okay? Because that's a whole person. That's not even an animal. That is a whole person that he just named, okay?
And he knew exactly what he was doing. He knew exactly what he was doing.
Yeah, like,
did.
I
That's
know
why he
she's a-
submitted it.
I know she's a cat at first, but I mean, still, like,
I mean, that's it. It's kind of fair. It's kind of fair, you know, an animorph, but I think it's like an animorph the opposite way. Like, you know, like
yeah.
it's not like the cat is transferred, but whatever. Let's see what his answer actually is.
But like, I think I'm probably cheating with this animal thing, and it also depends on if you guys want it to be considered anime or whatnot. I said Momo. I almost said Appa, but like, man, I can't separate Appa and Aang. But Momo, yeah, man, Momo. I could do Momo from Avatar: The Last Airbender. So Momo is our animal. As far as support,
Now Momo, I've never seen Avatar, right? Like I never really could make it through it at all. But Momo, is that like the flying squirrel or something like that?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
little like mercat thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I thought it was when he said it. But yeah,
Yeah.
I know that's a big surprise. I've never finished Airbender. I think I only watched like 3 episodes and turned it off.
Damn, man.
I know, right? Who is this
But
guy?
do y'all consider that an anime though? Before we go further, do you think that's cheating, or are you gonna let him?
Don't
slide
move
with
the
this?
goal. Don't move the goalposts. Don't move the goalposts. I think you know. Well,
my
you
honest
know what?
answer?
I mean, I was gonna say let's save this one when the others are here, because I think this could be a contentious argument. So
Yeah.
I'll hold my answer until then.
Okay, now let's see what his final member, the support.
character goes, I don't know what that actually means, what he means by support character, or I'm assuming it's like their guy in the chair or something like that. So
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I'm not entirely too sure what that is, what he means on that. But I was thinking of like smart characters, and the one that came up is that dude from
Don't steal my answer.
not Detective Conan, but from Dr. Stone. That whatever the dude with the turnip hair and everything. I ain't never seen Dr. Stone, but he's smart. He could do it. So that's my support there. That's my team.
Oh man, look,
Oh,
I
man,
knew
that's
Bro.
funny as hell.
I knew that was the character that you picked, Attic. I'm not gonna lie. As soon as I heard it, I was like, "Oh yeah, look,
Bro, he
I know."
hasn't even seen it. He's just saying it from what I've said.
That's the funny thing. He's never seen it.
Come on, man.
Shit.
He's never seen it, and then he picked your answer. That's hilarious. So, what do y'all think about Shin's list?
I mean, I think
Yeah.
it's pretty solid. The whole Momo thing, Avatar's not an anime because it's not originated from Japan, but I'll let it slide.
Okay. Yeah.
You just
Now
had to get that in there, innit?
I did because like earlier I was like, I'm gonna say it, but Tim stopped me.
He hyped himself up. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it now. I'm gonna say it.
Because I don't understand the confusion. Like people should know like what makes anime anime. You know what I mean?
Nah, I think that's a fair thing. I haven't heard of his first two people, but I think he mentioned Battle Brigade one time because I think that was where his ice user came from that he picked, right? Like,
Yeah, Blood Blockade Battlefront. That's what it is.
yeah, that's I
Yeah.
think he like I don't think that was the ice user he picked. Maybe it was, but I think that was where the guy like freezes time or something like that.
Yeah.
He says you Rook said you need some glasses when you do that.
Well, actually,
Hmm.
it's not an anime.
You need to have a glare go across right before you do it too. But I think he has a solid list all around. I trust him even though I haven't heard of those first two. I trust Shin in his decisions. But let's go on ahead and move over to you, Addict.
All right. So my father figure that I selected is Kazuki Kurusu from Buddy Daddies, and he's actually pretty similar to Lloyd. So he's a hitman. He can cook, and I feel like he would fit the role perfectly of a spy father as well as just a father in general. Um, for mother, I chose Hana from Wolf Children. Um, in terms of being a spy, you want to stay hidden. She takes her wolf children into like the countryside to stay hidden from the outside world. So I think that she fits that role perfectly. Child, I'm actually glad that Shin did not go through with this and say Boji because he's my selection. Um, with him being deaf and mute, it kind of plays hand in hand, and also he's able to
Yeah.
fight because of that. So, and then my pet.
So you were sweating when he brought up Boshi for a second. You was probably sweating.
Yeah, I did have a backup answer for that, but I'm glad he didn't say that.
Okay.
For the animal, I was trying to decide between Happy, Chopper, or Kirara from Inuyasha, and I'm
Mhm.
gonna probably go with Kirara. I think that she's a good choice, and she's also like a good like travel companion as well. Like if you need to like get somewhere quicker, um, whatever like mission you're on or whatever, she would help. And then the support I completely overlooked. I didn't even like realize that. So I'm gonna go with probably like I think I'm gonna stick with Doctor Stone. I'm gonna go with Doctor Zeno, which is basically the doctor or the scientist that is like on an equal level with Senku, because Senku would have been my first choice. But since Shin chose Senku, I'm not going to choose Senku.
That's a good little setup. Once again, I've never heard of those first two anime. I'll be honest with you. I've never heard of those first two
So
whatsoever.
Wolf Children's actually a movie. Came out like 2012.
Okay.
So like you could watch that in a day, honestly.
Okay. Yeah, no, I'm gonna go on ahead and check that out. What what made you pick those first two? Like, was there any other choices that you had going on where you was like, but then this one stood out, or was it kind of like, oh, I know?
For the father, I pretty much knew because when I watch Buddy Daddy, I can compare it to Spy Family. Like they're very similar in that regard. The mother was like a little challenging to me, but I stuck with Hana from Wolf Children.
Okay. What do you think about this list, G?
It's interesting. I mean, I haven't heard a couple of those and movies or series. I ain't really heard of them. So, but I trust Addict. I trust Addict. Like I said, I'm catching up on all of these animes. But no, I ain't heard of a couple of the characters. But the few I do know, I was happy with that.
I will say you might have to watch Attic. It took him a whole season to admit that Togen Anki was trash. A whole season or half of a season.
Well, yeah, I would say half a season. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a little strike on your record there.
Yeah,
I went from it's okay to its ass.
How was that? It's ass. Yeah. Episode.
He wasn't blinded by what others were blinded by. Okay.
Okay, G. What's your list? Who is your spy family to save the country?
Oh man, this was really quite difficult to say the least, because my picks are so unconventional. to say the least. Anyway, so for the father figure, I went for I think you pronounce it as Hei from Darker Than Black. The main guy with the mask. I think he's a professional hitman, so he can get the job done depending on what kind of situation is required to actually to be dealt with. So that's why I've gone for him. Mother figure, it's a bit of an interesting one, but I went for Faye Valentine from Cowboy Bebop, only
Okay.
because she has that, while Hayes more of the bruiser, she's more of that finesse. She's got more of that finesse touch, because the way she was kind of getting into some of the scenes with certain individuals, and she was able to use her feminine charms to wiggle away through certain situations, is why I think she would be the mum in this situation. The daughter, I ain't gonna lie, that stumped me the hell, because I don't really watch a lot of anime with daughter-like figures that you
Well,
can.
it didn't have to be a daughter. It just had to be a kid. That was the
Well,
the
that's what I was
thing,
like
is
with
just a
with
child.
kids. I don't really watch a lot of animes with kids, with like kid those kind of kid vibes. So I think the best I went for was Melfina from Outlaw Star, because I know she drives the ship, so she could be she I think we could be a bit of a getaway out there in certain situations. So that's why I went for her, but that was probably the hardest one for me. The animal, I went for Momo from Samurai Champloo, the squirrel, because if A1 was here, he probably would have gone for that same one as well, because like Momo absolutely clutch. Comes in
So
clutch.
you were sweating when Shin said Momo at first. You were
I
sweating
was sweating.
too.
Yeah, I was sweating when he said Momo, and then he said Airbender. I was like, all right, cool, sweet. Yeah. So if you watch like Samurai Champloo, you see Momo clutch. Saves the gang in a few pinches throughout the series. And then for the support, I went for Benny. From Black Lagoon, who's their tech guy, who's always
Okay.
he's the smartest of them all, even though like he's a bit funny.
That's like the hacker of the group, right?
He's the hacker. So I went for him because I feel like he'll be able to get us into he'll be able to get the team into situations, so he'll be able to give them all the intel of like, this is happening, this is coming, this is going. So yes, I think that's why I went for Benny. So I think because he'll get us through. No, why am I saying us through? He'll get them through.
Yeah, they'll so you're for certain that your team will save the country from certain doom.
I'll probably say they'll do the Denzel meme and say, I'm gonna leave here with something. I don't know what, but I'm gonna leave here with something. That's what that is. I don't know.
Oh man, so I didn't originally come up with a list, but I was thinking of one while y'all was talking and everything, right? My father would be Pandora's actor from Overlord, right? Because he can blend in, he can literally change into anything, copy people's mannerisms and mannerisms. I said mannerisms. What the hell was that? Is that like an aneurysm with manners? Like, he can copy people's mannerisms. And we've seen him infiltrate. If you've seen the Overlord movie, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. The mother would be Revy, right? Revy would be the perfect fit for the mother role because she is a cold-blooded killer, just like Yor really is, right? It's just she's on a mission, but every time Yor snaps, she be snapping. And plus, if there's a list, I can slide Revy in there. I'm gonna slide Revy in there. You know what I'm saying?
I thought you were gonna say because she's mommy.
I mean,
I
she's
thought he was going
Dami
to say
mommy.
that. Well, to be fair, I'm even surprised she's on the list, because she'll probably kill the whole team.
Nah. For the mission, she's not gonna kill the whole team for the mission. Maybe Pandora's actor, but I don't think she can kill Pandora's actor. I don't think she's strong enough to kill him. For the kid, I'm gonna go with I don't think his name is, I can't think of his name, but the white haired kid from Promised Neverland that escaped. That's gonna be the kid that I pick. Just because if he can escape, a kid farm, then he can escape. Like he can come up with good plans, blend in, and whatever. The pet, I wasn't even think the pet. When you said Chopper, I was like, oh, that would be a good choice. I never even thought about that. But I'm gonna pick the cat from My Status as an Assassin. That's the one I'm gonna pick. Is gonna be the cat. Besides the fact that she's OP, but it seems like she can kind of do the Pandora's actor thing. I don't understand what happened last episode. Not dropping no spoilers or anything, but I know Addict knows what I'm talking about. I don't quite understand that aspect going on right now, but that's a good choice. And then I think my support that I'm gonna go with is Sid from Shadow and Eminence. I think that's gonna be my support, even though he acts like he's planning everything or whatever. But if you give him a plan, he'll execute it. I think he'll execute it really good if you give him a plan. And just hope he doesn't go atomic on you, or nuclear. What he says nuclear, right? No, he says it's atomic. Yeah. I am atomic. Yep. So that's my list there. How y'all feel about my improv the list?
I mean, like I said, yeah, go on.
Oh, I was just saying, I think both, because I didn't get to talk about G's. I think both lists are a really good list, and for the most part, I've seen all those animes.
All of them that we've named.
Just about all 10 that you both said.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, that's like you are. I was like, you are the resident anime addict. I mean, would have to revoke your pass if you hadn't. No.
Mr. 999 animes.
I know, right? I think no, I was with. I think the only thing that stumped me was the Revy, because I was like, Revy, like Revy. I was like, what? You're trying to jeopardize. You're trying to jeopardize the mission before you guys even get in the building.
Oh man, that's hilarious. Another support that was going through my head though was Zanaba from Jobless. That's the prince that's just really strong.
Oh,
yeah, because he's actually really smart, especially like reverse engineering the magic items and stuff like that. But we're going to go to the next one. But before we do that, if you're enjoying what you're seeing, go on ahead, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and follow all of our socials that are down below. I know you can't see the Instagram or the YouTube right now, but it's _Anime Association _ for Instagram, and just the Anime Association for our YouTube channel. So to go on ahead, the next question that we have is, could live action ever get to the point where it does the source material, the anime, the manga, the light novel, whatever? Do you think it can ever get to the point where it obtains that high level quality or will it get so good to the point where it kind of isn't live action anymore? Like they just throw in too much CGI. Do you think that depends on the genre? Do you what do y'all think about that? I'll start off with G.
I think it is possible. I think it's very much possible. I think the question is more so how long will it take? Will the necessary investment be made? What was the other part of the question?
Do you think that if it does get to that point, do you think there will be so much CGI to the point where it's not really live action anymore? It's mostly like animated with a hint of live action. You know, that type of
Oh,
thing where they start superimposing too much.
no, no. Because there are actually some decent anime that don't that if they were done, they wouldn't require CGI, or if they did, it would be so minimal. I think the example that I can give would be like a windbreaker. That's just hands. You could do something there that doesn't require CGI, and it would it would very much feel like a live action, because it would be. In terms of anything that requires CGI, it's very difficult, because unless they've got powers or some type of techniques that they need to do, you could pretty much get away with not having to use a lot of CGI. So CGI wise, not included. Yeah, I think it could really get to that point where, because I know you said something about, like, as in it becoming better than the source material.
Or just being at that high level where it's like
Yeah.
people will change their stigma of the live action, right? Even though
Yep.
there are great live actions that have come out within the past few years, and even some that people don't even realize are live actions, like that Alice in Borderland, right? Like that's a live action, but a lot of people watch it on Netflix don't even know it's a live action, but they love it, right? They eat it up. So yeah.
Yeah. No, no. So in that case, yeah, I think they're, it's all going to come down to uh, writers, directors, producers, the production crew, because it's only as good as um as it'll only ever be as good as the team that's around it. If you have a good team, you can make good stuff happen. If you've got ass team, you already know it's gonna be
So
cheeks.
so like you think it would be like mostly the love of the series pretty much that they're adapting. It couldn't just be a straight money hungry, grab for it type of ordeal. Do you now Shin did send a video, but I don't think I'm gonna bring it up for the sake of time and everything. But some of the things he brought up was it doesn't need to stick to a one-to-one, right? And how
Yeah.
we've seen novels pull it off with
Mhm.
Harry Potter, Game of Thrones, and Lord of the Rings, and that list can go on and on and on, right? So maybe novels can kind of get away with it a little bit different because of the way things are described in novels. Uh, but he also brought up like westernization. Like as long as they don't try to westernize it, then there's a chance that Hollywood could pull it off. And I think he proved a pretty good point because we have two Death Notes. One of them is straight trash, and the other one is decent, right? And I might be wrong, but I believe the one that's straight trash was the William Dafoe one, right? Is the one that was made by Hollywood, by America. They did that and everything. But what about you, Attic? How do you feel about that?
So I want to say never, because I think it could get to the point where it is justifiable for an adaptation. But I
Mhm.
think in terms of majority of anime fans, we're very stubborn and we don't want to see live action. So we automatically will just be like, no, this is never going to be at that level. But I think, like one of you was saying, like if you have the right team, then you could definitely like make it that level. But I feel like most of us are just going to be like, we don't want to see it because we automatically prefer animation over live action, so we just don't want to see any sort of live action. Like I know Netflix is planning on working on like 3 live actions like some point soon, and a lot of people I've seen just are like, no, like why are you doing this?
Yeah. Yeah, because I think what they're doing a My Hero live action. They're actually doing a Windbreakers live action. And I
Yeah,
forget what the other one that they
they're
announced.
also Solo Leveling and Demon Slayer.
I heard about the Demon Slayer. I didn't hear about the Solo Leveling one. But
Yeah,
there was. Go ahead.
Well, I just think that a lot of them are trying to copy. Well, not maybe not copy is the right word, but succeed the same way One Piece has. Because I feel like the One Piece live action is really good, and like you were talking about, like Shin saying it's not a 1-to-1. So like that's what makes it good. Is it's not you're just watching the same thing but live action.
Okay,
Yep.
so you think if they do a 1-for-1, it's not going to really hit as good, or you think it needs to be a 1-for-1? I'm trying to make sure I heard you right.
I think if it's not 1-to-1, it's better because
Okay.
it's not like you're watching the same exact thing happening, just a different format. It's like you're watching something based off of it, but it's different.
Okay, so kind of like if it takes a world of its own, pretty much. Like it takes on its own character, just like like MCU does.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do y'all think? Like, so speaking of MCU and other series and stuff, do you think what separates animation and live action when you're talking about CG is how realistic it looks? Do you think as long as it looks like it can be realistic, do you think that gives it somewhat of a pass? Because like, would you say Transformers is a live action, or do you think it's more of a blend? Because a lot, we're looking at Transformers, almost all the characters and almost a lot of the big scenes, those are all CG, right? Like that's all CG pretty much. Do you think too much CG will be like, well, it's not really a live action? Do you think you think it's just going to be the people that are like, actually, it's not a live action because they have to animate the CG images? Or do you think like it's just about how realistic it looks?
I think it all boils down to if it came from something from. So I think like we can divide it between Japan and like any other place, because Japan's animation style is very different. So if we were to get a live action that heavily uses CGI that's based off of something from Japan, most people are going to hate it. But if it's based off of something else, most people are going to love it.
Okay. What about you, G?
Well, I think first of all, I think we're both. It's within the space that we're in, we're always going to complain. Yes, we're always going to complain.
Yeah.
But to answer the question, I think it's more in line with what Addict is saying, because that's what I agree with. But also, like, with the live action stuff of what is live action. Listen, if I'm looking at Transformers and I'm hearing Optimus Prime saying Autobots roll out, and it's a cartoon, and I'm looking at the TV screen and I'm seeing Autobots roll out, and it's like not the same, then it's a live action. You know what I mean? It'd be like, yeah, it's if I can see real life buildings, real life cars, and real life people in that shot, it's a live action. It's a live action,
Okay,
whether
that's
you
fair.
like it or not.
So it's mostly just the way it looks, pretty much, is what you're
Yep.
saying. As long as it looks real, you would consider it a live action.
Yes. So yeah. So whether you have CGI Addict, CGI Tim, but yet we're in this real world where you're seeing normal people, like, walking around, it's a live action. It doesn't matter how much CGI they use to animate you and so forth, it's a live action.
Okay. Yeah, I think the original example when I sent you all the questions was Alita, but then I started thinking about it. I was like, Alita really doesn't have too much like over the top CGI like Transformers does, right? I
Do you
think
mean
Alita,
yeah, that's a live action.
Yeah, it's a live action, but it doesn't really like go over the top with a lot of the CGI. It uses a lot of it,
Yeah.
but it's not over the top. So I agree. I agree. If it looks real and it looks like you can suspend disbelief and like, oh, I'm in this other world where this stuff is real and it's not, obviously it looked like it's hand drawn. I think it will pass off as animation. Now, as far as I think for the most part, we would have to have somebody that either loves the series or no matter what, the person has to love the series that's directing, producing it, writing it. But I also think it would be best to have somebody, either the creator or if the creator's no longer around, somebody that they would trust to do something like that, right? Like let's say we would get a Berserk live action, right? Obviously, rest in peace, Murata. I feel like I said the wrong name there for a second. If I did, just ignore it. Just think I said the right name. I know it starts with an M. Okay. Rest in peace to him though, but his best friend would probably be the person that would be there, right? And then like Gundam, there's so many different Gundam series and stuff like that. That it would probably be somebody from like Bandai that would probably help them out, right? So the move on from that, I want to kind of switch it up a little bit and talk about unique ideas in anime, right? And they're not really unique as in it's never been done before, but more so unique in the time that it's coming out, right? Because if we look, we're getting a lot of more fantasy based stuff that's taking stuff over. We have Banished, Court Magician, all the isekais that take place in like the Western magical D&D worlds. Or we have like shonen based stuff like Gachi Okuda and like MHA and stuff like that that follows a standard template that has unique elements within it. So the two that came to mind for me was Sanda and Beyond Dusk. I can never think of the rest of it. It's like Beyond Dusk, End of the
Dusk
World or
Beyond the
something.
Underworld.
Yeah. That's why I couldn't think of it because I was switching the words around. But like, do you think that sometimes they fall flat after presenting a great idea that's fresh and new? Like I said, not necessarily new, but fresh in what we are seeing. Do you think they generally disappoint, or do you think it's these ones just stick out more because we don't get it as much? Attic, I'll jump back to you.
So I think the ideas themselves stick out because they are unique, but the animes tend up falling flat because the story elements and different aspects to the show just don't hold up. Hold up, excuse me. So, like with Sanda, for example, the concept of a descendant of Santa sounds pretty cool to me, and him like kind of transforming into him seems pretty cool. But the whole thing of like him being an old man in just his underwear in front of a bunch of kids is just weird. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's like the idea sticks out, but the anime falls flat, if that makes sense.
Yeah, nah, that does. And that was one of the things that it's like, okay, maybe the first time it makes sense, right? For like, because he's not expecting to bust out of his clothes like that. But after that, it's like, invest in some spandex or stretchy pants. Like, just wear like some sweatpants or something so it can expand with you. But I think that was like you said, Sanda presents a pretty unique idea where we have the descendant and everything. But then, Dusk Beyond, it's what fell flat to me was it started off with this really serious tone to it. And then it went really goofy and they like leaned into like the incest stuff too much. And it was just like it had something really good and then it just like didn't know how to handle the seriousness of it. And that's an original series. Like that doesn't have a manga, a light novel, or anything. That's an original series. So it's like, are you like it fumbled it there? Like from what I'm seeing, a lot of these fresh series, they kind of fumble it. And I don't know if it's just because we're not seeing them as wide out in the open and like they're coming out very sparingly. So they stick out more and you're like, oh yeah, that's the shit, man. Now you ruined it. Now I don't ever want to see it again. But there is a series that I know that Silva was talking about, and that's Genosha, or that's how you pronounce it, right? And that sounds like a pretty like unique series with that's in the realm, and he's like, it's pretty dope. Like designs and like it didn't fall off for him at least.
Yeah, to go back to Dusk, I understand like where you and a couple other people are coming from with certain elements of it made it not like you didn't want to watch it anymore. But me personally, is like the whole mystery aspect of it of Toasa, the girl from the first episode, and she was like creating this LC project and all this stuff. I still hold on to that, and I think that's why I keep watching it. In terms of Genosha, like Silva said, there is a mystery aspect to it, but I think for me personally, it's just like they overused them like restarting over and over again so many times that I just got like annoyed by it and I just didn't want to watch it anymore. So like to me, that's the difference between those two.
Before we jump to G, I'm surprised you got tired of the restart over and over because Summertime Rendering, they did that shit like 3 times an episode for 25 episodes.
Yeah, I think that's because like for me personally, that was like a little bit earlier in my anime days, so like I wasn't as critical. But now since I've seen so many, it's like it gets to a point where I'm just like I don't want to see this one anymore.
Okay, that's fair. What about you, G? Do you think unique ideas seem to fall flat?
Yes, but like I think the way I see this is a lot of the ideas that we get, I see them in 2 ways. Sometimes it's a case where the right idea just happens to come out at the wrong time, right? And what I mean by that is in some cases, you might get a situation where Addict is my boss and I pitched an idea to him, i.e. this Santa Claus thing that you talked about. Instead of giving me the time to fully flush it and really create that world for it to be a complete story, you're enamored by it and be like, yeah, I like this, let's go, yeah, do it now, this is a great idea, push it out, so then you're producing a rushed product of an idea of a good idea, but you haven't been given the time to fully flush it out, so then it falls flat when you get to that point where you're like, oh man, I liked the concept, but this sucked, because when you really look at it, that is what a lot of things that happen, because it's like, it's what happens a lot of the times in terms of, just the idea sounds good, let's just get it out there. We'll figure it out as we go. And then all of a sudden, because you're now making stuff up as you go, it's not making sense anymore. You're not, people are just doing just doing anything and everything to make it stick, but then it ultimately
out there.
Yeah, that's what I think. And then sometimes, and then another thing with the ideas, as I was saying, is like sometimes it's, because when you look at it, as I said, sometimes it's just not the right time for the idea. Because where I come from with that is James Cameron with the Avatars. He always said he will never make an Avatar movie if the technology is not right. If the technology is not right, he's not going to do it. If it means we have to, if it means he has to make people wait 15 years for Avatar 4, he'll do it, because he's not just going to do it for the sake of let's just do it because this is what I need to do. So there's that aspect of it. I think ultimately, ultimately when you really look at some of the best stuff that we've seen, it's usually things that have really been given the time to flourish. I know we had a similar conversation a while back. I'm sure the videos are probably available for people to watch, but conversations about how sometimes does animation mask poor storytelling, kind of thing, because sometimes you have, because what we've seen as a whole is we've seen some really poor animated animes, but they've had really good story. They've had enough time to have a story flushed out that when you've watched it, it's not fallen flat. That whether the idea was new or the idea was old, because it had that time to flourish, it doesn't fall flat. But sometimes you have a situation where it just falls flat because it's not been given the time to flourish, and it just doesn't have that masking factor, if you will, to hide it. I know Addict was saying, is it Togen? I haven't watched it yet. He said that one. You said it's straight up ass, basically. At first you're like, oh, hold on, it might be after the second episode ass, but it's one of those things. The concept from the first episode was like, it could be interesting, but someone just said, get it out there, because when we've watched those, I'm not sure if you've watched those documentaries about like how manga artists try and make it in Japan. Basically, like, these people be writing hella bloody stories out of anything, because they just want to throw it. And sometimes the concept lands, but then when it's time to, but then it's like, okay, cool, right, let's go quick, and then all of a sudden,
and I think that's why, what you said when you very first started was, they just do it because it's a cool concept, but they want the money. And I think that's why the go-to Togen Anki, right, is the first episode of Togen Anki was really good. Like it was, I'm not going to say it was a 10 out of 10 or anything like that, but it was a very solid first episode. And I think that's what we see a lot of these times, is the first one is really, really good, but they don't know how to develop it from that point onwards, right? So they probably took forever to come up with this first one. Now they have to write a whole story out, and that might be a little unfair to a lot of these people, because they might be planning it out and we just don't like the stories, right? They're getting animated for a reason, obviously, but I think a lot of times they just don't know how to necessarily execute these ideas.
I think a lot of
go on.
I think a lot of times they have the start point and the end point. They just don't know what to put in between, so they just come up with whatever in between.
Yeah. Because it does follow the same model with TV. The pilot episode is everything. You put so much of your time and energy into making the pilot episode perfect. You neglect everything else. It gets picked up. You're now in a rush because you've not had the chance to fully flourish the rest of the story, because you were fully focused on that first bit. And now you're working on the back foot the whole time. That's just like, there are some animes where some people have spent 8 years writing that story, and it somehow just lands because it just happens to be the right idea at the right time, and
Yeah.
it creates a fantastic story that's run through all the way to the end because it's just that right. And so that's like, you need to look at it in both ways. Sometimes it's a right idea, wrong time, and sometimes it's the wrong idea.
So you think a lot of these series, like it will be like, okay, it's trash now, but let's just say in like 5 years we go back and we're like, yo, nah, this is actually pretty good because it might be ahead of itself, or you think just the climate of like the heat or the type of shit that we're getting is just, it's like, I'm good on this because I can go watch some dude shoot fireballs out of his eyeballs, right? And so it's like it doesn't land because of everything else that we're getting, but maybe like I said, 5 years from now we go back and we watch Sanda because it's done and we're like, yeah, maybe at the time we didn't like the fact that but the story itself is actually pretty good. Like once it actually developed itself all of the way, type of thing.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
yeah.
I think that's where I'll go with it because it's always the case where it's shit now, but somewhere in the next 5 years, something is going to happen that makes that shit idea that is shit today feel so much relevant that it becomes a great idea. Does that make sense?
Yeah, like
Like
when
it comes out,
Christmas gets banned.
yeah, basically. And then now Santa walking around in his underpants is a fantastic idea, and it's like it's must-watch TV, basically. You know, it's just the ways of it all. Either you don't have either be given the right amount of time to create the story without the environment of just getting something out to TV, or basically, fuck, I don't know. But yeah, that's what I
Okay.
think about that.
Okay. Well, I did have one more topic, but we're kind of running out of time right now. So I think that's a pretty good spot to wrap it up at. Good discussions today, gentlemen, as well. As always. Is there anything else that y'all would like to add in before we say our adieus? No? Okay. Well,
No.
I appreciate y'all for coming and watching our very first live stream for our whole anime association of only 3 people. But if you were liking what you saw and you made it all the way to the end, put down below, Togen Anki is the greatest thing ever. And also, while you're down there, go on ahead and hit that like button, that subscribe button, and share it all over the world. And go on ahead and like all of our social media down below. Follow it, subscribe, whatever it tells you to do. But until next time, we are signing off. So, peace.